By 9 o'clock that morning, I was no longer employed by the company I'd helped hold together for almost a decade. I was already sitting when it happened. The conference chair was too low, my knees higher than the table edge. The air smelled like burnt coffee, the kind that had been reheated more than once. Nobody offered water. Nobody asked how I was doing. The CEO leaned back, hands folded, eyes not on me. They stayed fixed on the man beside him. New suit, new haircut. Still stiff in it. He has an MBA, the CEO said, almost casually. He's on a different level. The man beside him lifted one finger, cutting through my sentence before it finished forming. Not aggressive, polite. Like I'd missed my turn. A folder slid across the table. White paper, clean. No handwritten notes. This had been prepared. They wanted 3 times the output. Same deadlines, less testing, fewer reviews. They called it a modern pace. My mouth opened, closed, opened again. That breaks the system. The man smiled. Not wide. Just enough to show he wasn't worried. The words came down like a stamp. Accept it or leave. Something in me went flat. No spike, no heat, just a quiet click, like a switch flipping. I nodded once, more out of habit than agreement. Okay. The pen in HR's hand stopped moving. I stood up before anyone else could speak. The chair legs scraped loud against the floor. I didn't apologize. I resigned. Effective immediately? No one moved. It was like I'd stepped off the script they'd rehearsed. I reached for my badge on the way out. The reader flashed red. A dull beep followed. That sound hit harder than the words in the room. My name is Maribel Knox. 47 years old. I didn't look back. The hallway felt longer than it ever had. Phones rang somewhere behind closed doors. Someone laughed, then stopped. I walked anyway. Before this story continues, it's important to note that the story you are about to hear is a fictional work created by the writing team at Revengeaita. While inspired by real workplace dynamics and emotional truths, the characters and events are dramatized for storytelling purposes. The elevator doors closed. My reflection stared back at me. Badge gone, shoulders tight. I pressed the lobby button with more force than necessary. When the doors opened again, the building looked the same. Glass, light. People moving with purpose. I stepped outside. Cold air hitting my face, and kept walking. My desk looked smaller than it should, like it shrank while I was in that room. The air around it smells like dust and warm printer toner. The kind that sticks in your nose. I open the bottom drawer. My bag goes in first. Then the mug with the chipped handle. The stupid stress ball someone tossed me during a team retreat years ago. I squeeze it once. It doesn't help. I drop it into the bag anyway. Keys clack behind me. Someone laughs, then coughs, then goes quiet. A phone comes up to an ear a little too fast. No one says my name. The new manager stands in the hallway, arms crossed, shoulder leaning against the wall like he belongs there now. He watches me pack without blinking. Not smug, not angry, just present, like this is confirmation. A folder hits the edge of my desk as I zip the bag. HR's handwriting on the tab. My name, past tense, I'll mail anything else. Floats down the hallway, not an offer, a dismissal. I don't answer. I sling the bag over my shoulder and walk. At the badge reader, my hand hesitates. Muscle memory. The light flashes red again. Same dull beep. Someone behind me clears their throat. Impatient. Use the other door. Comes from somewhere over my shoulder. I do. The elevator dings when I press the button. Normal sound. Too loud. I stare at the closing doors until they seal me in. The lobby smells like cleaner and old carpet. Outside, cold air hits my face hard enough to sting. I didn't bring a jacket. I stand there anyway. Bag cutting into my shoulder, long enough for the automatic doors to almost close again. They don't. No security. No HR. No one calling my name like they forgot something important. I walk to my car. My hands shake when I unlock it. That part surprises me. I sit there with the engine off, forehead resting against the steering wheel. Bills flicker through my head. Rent. Insurance. Things I usually don't let myself think about during work hours. I turn the key. The engine catches. I pull out of the lot and don't slow down. I slide into the corner seat at the coffee shop uptown. Same place. Same cracked table edge. The air smells like cinnamon and burned espresso. Too sweet and too bitter at the same time. I open my email. New message. Subject line already written before I think about it. Resignation. 2 paragraphs. Straight. No thank yous. No explanations. I read it once. Then again, my finger hovers. Click. Sent. That lands heavier than walking out. I pull up my resume. The file date stares back at me like an accusation. Years old. I scroll. Job titles I haven't thought about in forever. I start fixing a line. Then stop. It feels like admitting something I wasn't ready to say out loud. My phone buzzes on the table. The name flashes up. The new manager. I let it buzz until it stops. Another vibration. HR this time. Same result. A few seconds of quiet. Then a text comes through from Evan, one of the back-end engineers. We've worked together since before the company got fancy. Hey, are you still nearby? 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. I don't answer. The coffee goes untouched. My leg won't stop bouncing. On the surface, I probably look fine. Just another person with a laptop and nowhere urgent to be. Inside, everything feels tight. Like I'm holding my breath without meaning to. Another text. Things are acting weird. No emojis. No jokes. That's how I know. I flip my phone face down. The screen still lights up underneath. Faint and insistent. This is the moment people talk about later. Like it was obvious what the right move was. It wasn't. It felt small. Petty. Even. Choosing silence instead of stepping back in. I close my laptop. The snap echoes louder than it should. The buzzing keeps going. I pick up my bag, sling it over my shoulder, and stand. Another vibration. Different name this time. Lena from infrastructure. She never texts unless it matters. Monitoring's weird. Before I can lock the screen. It buzzes again. Then again. Short gaps. No small talk. That rhythm tells me more than screenshots ever could. I don't ask for details. I already know the shape of it. Someone reached for a shortcut. Someone skipped the boring step that keeps everything upright. The step I wrote down years ago and made people practice until they rolled their eyes. A call tries to come through. I let it die. My phone lights up with a group message I'm no longer part of, but the preview still shows. Words like latency, failover. Someone types should be fine and deletes it. I picture the server room without trying. The hum that never quite goes quiet. The lights that blink in patterns you stop noticing until one of them changes. When things start stacking wrong, that hum deepens. You feel it in your chest before the alerts fire. The new manager doesn't know the sequence. He knows the diagram. He knows the slide deck version. That's not the same thing. I trained teams on this exact handoff because if you touch the wrong switch first, everything downstream starts lying. Another message from Evan. Hey, he's asking if you documented the rollback. My coffee is cold now. Bitter. I swallow it anyway. The answer sits in my throat. Yes, of course it's documented. Clear. Step by step. I made sure of that because this system doesn't forgive guessing. A new call tries to break through, executive office this time. The number alone carries weight. I stare at it until the ringing stops. I set the phone face down on the table. The buzzing still pushes through the wood. Faint but constant. This is the moment where stepping in would feel familiar. Easy. Muscle memory kicking back on. I stay where I am. I pay for the coffee I didn't finish. Shoulder my bag. And walk out while the phone keeps lighting up behind me. The call comes from the executive office. Same number everyone recognizes. I watch it ring until the screen goes dark. A voicemail lands a few seconds later. Professional. Even tone. The kind you could play in a training video. Another call follows. Shorter gap this time. Another voicemail. The words come faster, like she's reading while walking. Still controlled. Still trying. The third one is different. Her breathing slips into the message before the words do. There's a pause where she forgets what she's supposed to say. Please call back. The CEO needs to speak with you. I listen to the whole thing. I don't rush it. Then I delete it. That surprises me. The calm. My hands aren't shaking anymore. They're steady on my lap, like they finally got instructions. I glance at the clock on my phone. 11:30. So it's happening. Not eventually. Not hypothetically. Right now. The phone lights up again before I can lock the screen. Same number. Then a different extension. Then the same one again. The vibration changes tone when calls stack up. I didn't know that until today. A text slips in underneath the calls. No greeting. No name. Are you available? I don't reply. Another voicemail arrives before I can clear the notification. This one drops the script halfway through. We're having issues. She stops. Starts again. They're asking for you specifically. I don't need to hear the rest. I already know what that means. Somewhere, someone who waved me off this morning is no longer in control of the room. I stand up and step outside so I don't have to hear the phone buzzing through the table anymore. It keeps going in my hand now. Urgent and insistent. I let it. It doesn't feel good. There's no rush, no satisfaction. Just a weight settling in my chest. Like gravity finally noticed me. Another call comes in. I silence it without looking. I start walking. No destination. Just forward. The number isn't saved. But I know it anyway. I stop walking. The phone vibrates once more before I answer. My name comes through the speaker, slow, careful, like he's testing the ground. The founder, the one who hired me when the office still fit on one floor, his voice sounds rough. Not loud, not panicked, just worn down. They're in trouble. No buildup. No apology. Just the truth. Dropped clean. I lean against the wall outside the shop. The concrete is cold through my coat. I don't say anything yet. I know you resigned this morning. He continues. I heard how it happened. Silence stretches. He lets it. We need help. Not an offer. Not a command. A statement shaped like a request. Not as an employee. He adds quickly. Not reporting to them. Just help. I stare at a thin crack in the sidewalk near my shoe. I've stepped over it 100 times. Never noticed it until now. They wanted 3 times the output, I say. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. Same deadlines. Less testing. They called it efficiency. The line goes quiet, long enough that I check the screen to make sure the call didn't drop. That's not how those systems work, he finally says. They told me to trust the new manager's framework. I continue. Said credentials mattered more than experience. They didn't want my judgment. Just my hands. He exhales slowly. The sound drags through the speaker. I warned the board. He says, about replacing people who understand the bones of the place. I warned them about this exact thing. I don't respond. There's nothing to add. I'm not calling to defend what happened. He says, I'm calling because clients are calling me. And because the people still inside don't know where to touch it without making it worse. I close my eyes for a second. The noise from the street fades. I can stabilize it, I say. But not the way it was before. I wouldn't expect that. He replies. We sit in that space for a beat. Not negotiating yet, just acknowledging where we are now. Send me what you need, he says. Your terms? I nod once, even though he can't see it. Give me a little time. I say, I'll wait, he answers. I don't sit down to think it through. I call him back while it's still raw. He answers on the first ring. I can help. I say, but it won't look like before. A pause. Not resistance. Attention, consultant. I continue. I keep my voice even. Independent. No internal title. He doesn't interrupt. I bill hourly. I name the rate. There's a small inhale on the other end of the line. Just one. Enough to tell me it landed. I report directly to the board. I add, not the executive team, not the manager you just hired. Another pause. Longer this time. And he stays out of my work, completely. No approvals, no check-ins, no opinions. The silence stretches. I hear paper shift. Maybe he's writing. Maybe he's just buying time. I won't undo their decisions for them. I say, I'll stabilize the system. I'll document what they don't understand. I'll hand it back when it's safe. That's it. He clears his throat. You're not asking for much, he says carefully. I am. I reply. I'm just not pretending otherwise. That earns a breath that sounds almost like a laugh. Not amused. Relieved. Send it in writing, he says. I'll make sure it's signed. No pushback. No counter. No attempt to soften it. I end the call and sit there for a moment with the phone in my hand. My heart is loud now. Fast. The kind of pounding that comes after you jump. Not before. I expected negotiation. I expected him to tell me to be reasonable. I expected at least one line about loyalty. None of that comes. I open a new document and start typing. Plain language. Short sentences. No room for interpretation. When I finish, I read it once. I don't polish it. I send it. I walk in the next morning through the same doors, but nothing about it feels familiar. The badge clipped to my jacket is a different color. Consultant printed across it in block letters. No department, no title underneath. The receptionist looks up, freezes for half a beat, then forces a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. They're waiting, she says, already standing. She doesn't ask where I've been. The floor hums louder than usual. Not machines. People. Voices cut off mid-sentence when I pass. The air feels tight, like everyone's been holding it too long. The CEO is outside the conference room. Phone pressed to his ear. He sees me and turns his body slightly away. Like eye contact might trigger something he can't afford right now. Inside. The manager sits at the table with both hands flat in front of him. No laptop. No notes. His shoulders sag in a way I've never seen before. When our eyes meet, he looks down first. Status. Comes from the end of the table. The founder's voice on speaker. Steady and calm. I drop my bag on the chair and open my laptop. Failover triggered correctly. I say, then someone forced a manual override out of sequence. The manager flinches. Not defensive. Exposed. That split the cluster. I continue. Transactions didn't stop. They duplicated. A sharp inhale from someone behind me. Finance? Maybe. We fix it in phases. I add no shortcuts. Anyone who touches this without checking with me makes it worse. No one argues. No one even nods. They just listen. An engineer I haven't met slides closer. Voice low. We tried restarting, don't. I cut in. Already typing. That'll corrupt what's left. He pulls his hands back from the keyboard like it burned him. Hours pass without anyone asking if I need coffee. I don't. My focus locks in. Screens fill with logs. Patterns I recognize reappear, ugly but manageable. Whispers ripple around the room. I don't turn. By the afternoon, alerts fade from red to amber, then to green. The room exhales in pieces. I close my laptop and stand. We're stable. I say, not safe yet? Stable. No applause. No thanks. That's fine. The manager's gone a few weeks later. No email, no meeting. His calendar just empties out. Someone removes his name from the org chart before lunch. The CEO stops me in the hallway that afternoon. He doesn't block my path. He just stands there, hands loose at his sides. We appreciate what you did. He says, the words come out measured, like he practiced them. We're grateful. I nod once and keep walking. Gratitude shows up earlier than this. If it's real, a recruiter emails me that night. Short message. Direct. She's heard I'm available. Another email follows before I finish reading the first, then a third, from someone I interviewed with years ago and turned down because I thought I was settled. I take the call the next morning. Then another. No small talk. They already know what happened. An offer lands by the end of the week. Better title. Clear authority. More pay than I've ever asked for without flinching. I read it twice to make sure I'm not missing a catch. I can start in 3 weeks. I say into the phone, that works. Comes back immediately. I say yes before my doubt can catch up. On my last day as a consultant, I go back to my old floor to collect the few things I left behind. The office is quieter now, not calmer, just cautious. My desk is exactly how I left it. Drawer still sticks. Chair still leans a little to the left. The stress ball sits in the corner. Bright, unused. I pick it up, turn it once in my hand, then set it back down where it was. The badge comes off at the door this time without a beep. I walk out carrying nothing. I'm at my new desk now. Different building, different rhythm. The chair doesn't wobble. The air smells cleaner, like someone actually changes the filters. Or maybe that's just what relief smells like. The first week, people keep asking what I think before they touch anything important. Not in a performative way. They wait. That's new. I notice it every time. Sometimes, though, my head drifts back to that room, the conference table, the way the sentence landed like a verdict. He's on a different level. It plays on repeat when things get quiet. Maybe he was, I'll give him that, just not the level that holds systems together when nobody's watching. Not the level that catches mistakes before they become disasters. Not the level that knows when not to move fast. I didn't win anything. There was no victory lap. No apology that fixed what broke that morning. I didn't outsmart anyone. I didn't expose a villain. I just stopped shrinking to make other people comfortable. That part still feels strange in my body. Like standing up after sitting too long. Necessary. A little painful. A few days ago, someone here joked about bringing in an outside consultant to shake things up. The room laughed. I didn't. I waited. The conversation shifted on its own. I still think about whether I'd do it again. Walk out like that. Let the silence stretch. Let things wobble before they steadied. Some days, the answer is easy. Other days, it sits heavier. Before I shut down for the night, I jot a note on a sticky pad and leave it on the corner of my desk. Not for anyone else, just for me. Titles and credentials can open doors, but they don't keep anything running. The people who quietly carry the weight are only invisible until the weight drops. Know which one you are and don't wait for permission to protect your ground.